Hello, everyone. It's been a while. It's Tiffany here. We are in this beautiful space, the 144K Crystalline Temple of the Sacred Flames. This is our vision, mission, and legacy, and we can see the energy of the temple here. So, welcome to the space. I am the High Priestess and Master Teacher of this space here, so welcome. I wanted to jump on today to say hi to my students, my fellow lightworkers, healers, channelers, and to do a quick personal, reflective teachings. It's more like the teachings that I've learned from my own journey lately and to share because I feel like some people might want to know about it, might want to connect with these topics, and might also find it helpful for themselves, maybe right now or in the future as well. So today is sunny here in Toronto, so there's some light that's coming in. It's shining. Hopefully it's not too distracted. I don't know where it's coming from. It's right on my forehead. How are you guys doing? I wanted to just jump on. I have been MIA for a few months now, and so wanted to say hi and see how everyone is doing. Hi, Bodhi. Nice to see you. Hi, Toru. Hi, Wendy. Yes, it's been a while. This is my warm-up video before I, get back into it. So where did I go in the last few months? Well, as some of you know, I really spent the last few years working really hard to bring as much light code teachings as possible from the higher realms, the temples of the sacred flames, down to the physical world. And so, looking back in the past 3 years, I've birthed a baby girl, my firstborn daughter. I have taught a few rounds of light language trainings. I have brought down the Dragon Flame Keepers, the Lemurian Rose, and the Quan Chi teachings. And I even pushed out a whole book during all of that, and also created the temporary membership space on my YouTube to give really accessible readings for people. And I told Mother Kuan Yin, I'm like, Mother Kuan Yin, I'm going to push out this book. And after that, I need to go back and do motherly duties. I need to try for a second child because that's part of my mission as well. I just love children. I have loved children all my life. And I am in a space where I feel that I can contribute to the collective by becoming a mother. So, yeah, that was that. So, after this book is published, and I wanted to thank you all that have supported the temple, all revenue or proceeds goes towards helping us build the temple in the physical form. Right now, I'm working on the online space is coming together slowly. Some of my master students and some high priestesses have been helping me as well in the background. So that's coming along. And in the video as well, I'll update some of you where we at in terms of the temple as well. So yeah, after I birthed this book, I basically went through a physical burnout and had a few health issues that came up, and I couldn't really work. I just gave so much that I needed that time to rejuvenate. So during the winter, like many of you, I just retreated and tried to rejuvenate, and then also got pregnant. And yeah, baby number 2 is coming. And I'm due in August. My birthday is also in August. This will be a birthday baby. Hopefully not right on my birthday. That would be hilarious. But baby number 2 is coming. So my firstborn is a daughter, and my secondborn, right now, who's 5 months in my belly, is a boy. So I'm going to have a phoenix and a dragon. And thank you, everyone, for the good wishes. So yeah, and I just started like now feeling more like myself again. This pregnancy was very difficult. I don't know what it is. Maybe I work too hard, or maybe it's age, who knows? But for 5 months, I was sick. And for the first 3 months, like 4.5 months, sorry, I was just in bed rest. I was nauseous. It was so easy for me to throw up. I couldn't work. I had to cancel appointments because when I show up, I like to do my 100%. People giving me their hard earned money. I need to be 100%. So I took a break from work, and that's why I haven't been here to serve, to teach, because I needed that time. And I would say motherhood really changed me, guys. And I think for the better. I didn't know what I was going through. It's only now that's been, my daughter is going to be 3.5 years old, that I'm able to formulate what has been integrating, shifting, transforming in my personal life and who I am as a person. So that's another reason I took that break as well, because as a mother of two now, sometimes I look at my old pictures and I don't recognize that Tiffany. Like, she's still in me, but I feel like that butterfly that was coming out of a cocoon, and I didn't know who I was. So I was like, I know that was me, but that also doesn't feel fully like me. So I didn't know how to show up on YouTube, because I'm like, I want to be authentic. I want to be able to show us who I am. But since I was in the between stage and just emerging from this cocoon of motherhood, it was difficult for me to integrate who I am. And I feel like now I'm settling in. So I feel guided to share these teachings and personal reflections with you guys. And I know some students, thank you for your love. You don't just care about what I have to give or teach, you care about me as a person too. So I really appreciate that too. And some of you ask, share more about your personal journey as a mother, who we want to hear. And I was like, oh, you do? Okay, thank you. So today I will be sharing with you 7 areas of evolution from a personal perspective about being a priestess mother 3 years into this journey. And I started out as a maiden, and I started out as a high priestess, having my own temple, my practice, and transitioning from that into motherhood. So yeah, listen in to today's teachings, and also allow the energy of just this calmness and peace to surround you. I'm holding space with the Divine Mother. I invited Mother Kuan Yin and the higher realm and all the light codes to activate. So hopefully, as you are listening to my voice and the frequency, that it heals you and it brings you more peace and alignment and groundedness. So that's my intention. Thank you very much. Hi. Connected to Healing. Anna, nice to see you. Thank you so much. So yeah, the first area in my journey was very big, and it was ancestral healing. When I was pregnant with my firstborn, my daughter, it was during COVID. Now, you guys know that was a crazy time. And there was a lot that happened. Maybe I'll do another video about it, but it really activated a lot of need for ancestral healing. And right about, I think, last year, it was also the Palestinian war started. And that really triggered the health problems in me, because my ancestor went through the same thing, that war, that genocide, and then being, they were lucky enough to escape Vietnam, right? But there was a lot of war wounds. Like, my mother as a little girl had to see all those war images. And so when that was going through, right, it was very difficult for me as well to be so compassionate towards what's happening on earth. And I really have to went inwards and ask questions that I'm sure a lot of you are asking Source as well. Like, Source, why do such evil exist? Why do pain like this, especially toward children, needs to happen. And all of it's happening while most of us is saying no. Like there's a better way to do this than to kill. And it was very difficult too for me because, being a new mother and also carrying, going through pregnancy and birth, how crazy it was. I say, how can these elites have no regards to human life? How can they just kill without any feelings? How can they just not, like, does it not hurt them when they hurt people? It was just a very difficult time for me, even spiritually. So I had to go inwards a lot and ask a lot of questions with source. And one of the books that helped me was, I believe it's called Why Does Evil Exist by Yogi Paramahansa Yogananda ji, one of my spiritual teacher. He's not alive in the physical form, but he is in the spiritual form. So it kind of helped me brought some perspective out, but of course the mother side of me was still like, this is wrong. It's very wrong in many levels. And so I had to go deep. And some of you who are thinking of becoming parents or already parents, or even watching some of your friends or siblings become parents, that will come up. And so that's why we talk about these ancestral healing and lineage healing, because it doesn't just affect us who may not choose to have children. It affects all of us, right? We can all serve in some way. And one of the things that also came up for me was I started to appreciate my culture a lot more after becoming a mother. I grew up in a very colonized city and learned to reject parts of my culture because I deemed it uncool or not white enough to, be seen as like more important or higher. So that was the programming that I had to undo. And it was through that I feel that Quan Chi was able to birth. If I didn't go through this ancestral healing, if motherhood didn't trigger that at a deeper level for me, I don't think I would be able to channel and download all these information. So that was the big unraveling, big downloading and channeling that really took a few years to synthesize. And I started to see how some things of my lineage I can re-embrace. I can give it back to my children again. So it made me appreciate my culture and especially about the village style. I don't know how you guys are, where you guys are living, but I find that in the Western world, so I live in Canada, Toronto, it's very much about suburbs, plaza living. You have to drive everywhere and a lot of driving. Whereas when I was growing up for a little while in Hong Kong, China, it was more village, like it's walkable village. Like every resident village, the way that they were designed were a village. And then in the village, you would be able to walk to sports facility. There would be a plaza right in the middle of the village where you would get everything you need, the supermarket, um, the doctors, whatever you need is in that plaza. And then you would get all these different sections of villages. And let me know, some of you that lives in Europe or Asia as well, I think it's pretty common where the residents are divided into a village style. And so I remember growing up, it was so easy for me to play with my friends because all you have to do is just go down that elevator and there we are, right? It's so easy. There's no need of asking your parents to drive you and things like that. And I started to really appreciate that village. And also skills that I learned as a kid as well started coming back to me, like learning about Chinese weaving, knotting, calligraphy. These were things that I take for granted as a child, but now as a mother, I can see how that can really help a child develop and how that can really help me, right, keep the lineage alive with my daughter. So I thought that that was really, it's like a blessing for my family to be able to do that. So That was the number one, deep ancestral healing. And number two, I would say the second area of focus was synthesizing both pros, right? Or the both ways, Western and Eastern ways of raising children. So, for example, there's some big differences that I started to see in the cultures. Like in my culture, in Asian culture, we taught to be very respectful towards teachers, and I have a lot of teachers' friends, and they are homeschooling their kids. I have teacher friends who quit being a teacher because they don't feel safe with their students. And I was like, what do you mean by you don't feel safe with your students? And they were telling me stories. And I was like, that didn't happen with me when I was a kid. I don't know now. But we were always taught when a teacher come into a classroom, you stand up and you bow to the teacher and you say, good morning, Miss So-and-so, and you sit back down. That I noticed when I moved back to Canada in elementary school, that did not happen. There was not a lot of respect towards the teacher. And also in China as well, when you walk past a teacher, even not in class, you have to nod your head and you have to acknowledge their presence. And so, of course, there's good and bad that comes with some teachers that you are really caring. They get the fulfillment, they get that respect. But there are also teachers that might overstep, right, their egoic boundaries and sometimes can bully or hurt the children, just like everywhere. But I feel that that's something that is not being taught in the Western education system. And that's why I feel is one of the reasons why school systems are struggling so much, why teachers are struggling too much. Because so without that honor and respect, the kids are not going to listen to the teachers, and the teacher's going to have a harder time to teach what they need to teach during the day. So I wish that, maybe that will change. I don't know how. But for me, I'll be instilling that positivity that I remember from the Eastern education system. There's also pros and cons as well. Growing up in Asia, it's very, very competitive and very strict. So it doesn't matter if you were in public school or in private school, you have to wear uniform. And there's good and bad as well. The uniform, every school I'm not sure in China, but I know in Hong Kong was graded. So you will see, because you're wearing the uniform, right? There's kind of like this subconscious judging of like, oh, the student is from a really good school. These students are from like, the level 4 schools. They probably like really rowdy and da. So there's that. And there's also competition. So in Hong Kong, in China, when you are doing tests, you're being ranked, right, in the class. So imagine if you are like the last kid in that class, it will make you feel terrible. I'm usually somewhere, at the top middle part. That's where I hover. But I feel like because it was so graded and so competitive, maybe the children that were struggling with family trauma or not enough support, or that the learning style just doesn't fit, right, the traditional style, they're going to struggle and think they're not smart, when in fact it's just the system is not designed to fit their needs. And so I will talk more about this with you guys. I haven't shared some of these knowledge before on my YouTube channel about my interactions with hybrid children. So hybrid children has been revealing a lot of information about how education is done in space, in the galactic realm. And so I will be sharing more of that with everybody about what the hybrid children show me, how the technology works on their spaceship, for example. I thought that was very interesting. I think we can learn something from them. I noticed that in the Western world, and feel free to chime in, everyone. Like, this is a conversation, right? The Western world has more freedom. When I moved back to Canada, and my parents, or my mom, because my parents divorced, my mom brought me back to Canada. I was like, there's no uniforms? you mean I can wear anything I want to school? I was like, whoa, so over the moon about it. Because in Asia, right, they even have these people called prefects, and they're like scouts that are stationed in the hallway. And their job, everyone, is to check if you are wearing your uniform correctly. Your skirt has to be covering your knee, your socks have to be white and straight, your shoes have to be shined and black. Your hair cannot be longer than your shoulders. If it is, you have to tie it up. There's no bangs allowed, no jewelries allowed, no makeup allowed. So if you were to wear earrings, in China, you have to wear these just like transparent sticks to hold the piercing, but you're not allowed to basically wear anything. Um, that is very very distinguishable. So when I came back to Canada, I'm like, wow, you can wear any colors you want. That's like such a mind-blowing experience for me. So much freedom. And also in the start of the school or day as well in China, what you have to do is when you get to school, you go upstairs to your classroom, you drop off your backpack, and then you have to come down to the gymnasium area and you have to line up. So here's another thing about Asia that's very like linear is you are graded, you line up based on height, right? So I'm really short. I'm always usually the first few in the front of the line. So everything is very graded in Asia. And then the principal, the teachers would come, they would do like a morning teachings, and they would also do some maybe singing if you are in the Catholic school, right? Or you might pray. So it's very much orderly, very disciplined. There's an order to everything. And even when you are done the assembly and it's time to go back upstairs, right, it's very unified, one file after another, and you return to your classroom. I did not see that in Canadian school. It was just like, oh, you go into your classroom, you can do whatever. And there was announcement, but I don't remember it being as strict as the Asian schools. So I thought that was very, very different. And it, looking back, I feel if we can merge the two together and make it more like balanced way, I think it would really help. And the big benefit of receiving some education in China for me is I feel like I learn a second language. I'm not great with my Chinese. I've only been there for a few years. But it still taught me a different language, open up my consciousness, is open up my way of thinking, the deep culture, right, that my ancestors part of. And to also learn discipline. Like I would say in Asia, discipline is such a big thing. Like it's huge. And I factor that into who I am today because of that. We were trained to be very disciplined. I also find that in the Eastern culture, maybe because there's it's more of like a similarity. Most people are Asian unless you went to an international school, whereas here in Canada is very mixed culture. So in Asia I find that there was more of close-knit circles compared to when I was in the Canadian schools. There was more learning that it really opened my eyes to different cultures, and I absolutely love that. But then there's also that part of forgetting your culture. So when I moved back to Canada, my mom didn't really, she was too busy, right? She was a single mom then to conserve the culture. Whereas now, right, she's retired and she can be like, okay, now is Qingming. We have to go and honor the ancestors. This is Chinese New Year. This is what we do. So for my children, I would be taking good from both sides of the world, Eastern and Western, to teach them. So I'm going to use a lot of like discipline, a lot of like guidance, a lot of teachings, parables, teaching them about their culture. they also mixed as well. So my husband is a Latino. So they are learning Spanish and Spanish culture from that side of the family. So this is also new to me as well. It's like, okay, how do I teach her? This is called book, and in Chinese it's called su, and in Spanish is called something else. I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she was teaching me Spanish, and I was trying to teach her the Chinese word. She was like, "Mommy, did you know this is called a pear?" And in Spanish, abuela taught me is pera. I was like, "Oh, did you know that in Chinese is called pele?" She's like, Chinese? I don't know Chinese. I don't need I don't need to know Chinese. I'm like, well, you are half Chinese. So so I was navigating how to teach her like, okay, three languages at the same time, right? It's confusing. So if some of you have experience, comment, let me know. How did you teach your children like your language, right? I think she'll be very lucky if she learns all three languages: Spanish, Chinese, and English. You can go to a lot of places. So that was my second area of integration. Hi Bella, hi Breed, nice to see you. Hi Shamila, hi Wolf, it's been a while. Hi Eve. And the third area of reflection is making a radical decision. So, like many of you, I made the radical decision to really focus on spiritual studies. I grew up in different schools. We moved a lot. I was exposed to Christianity, Buddhism, and then now later in life, spirituality. And for me to say to my mom that I'm going to become a spiritual healer was a really radical decision, like radical shaking decision. And so that was the first time. And the thing is, guys, when you make a radical decision and reflect in your own life as well, nobody would believe in you. Or maybe you'll have like one or two person in life that will believe in you. It will feel like you're constantly walking uphill, right? Even being spiritual now, when you're trying to talk to people about dragons and light codes, you have to be discernful about how you share it, who you share it. And if you do share it to people who is open, they might still doubt you. So you're walking this really radical journey. And then I decided to homeschool my children, at least in the early elementary years. It's like 0 to 6. And so I find that a lot of people still have old programmings about homeschooling. And they think that homeschooling is just you keeping your kids at home all day long, like reading, I don't know, religious texts. Like, no, homeschool nowadays modernized. It's so resourceful, full of resources. And I really had to face a lot of judgment from my family and assumptions from people as well. Homeschooling does take some resources and sacrifice. And so, like, we are not rich or wealthy, so we have to sacrifice some things to make this work. But the reason I decided to homeschool is, some of the reasons I have been sharing with you guys, but also in that the education system, unfortunately, in Canada, from what I've seen and what I've talked to my teacher friends who homeschool their kids, has deteriorated a lot. And I know that this is part of the elite's agenda, because if they want to control Earth, then they need to strip away support and education for the next generation. So it's easier for them to tighten their grasp. They took away, some people were telling me they took away history. And here in Canada, I know for sure they took out cursive. And to me, it's like, well, I learned cursive in China. So why wouldn't this English speaking country teach cursive? So a lot of old documents are in cursive. Our signature is in cursive, and cursive activates the brain in different ways. And they took that out. So I'm like, they are really trying to dumb us down. They are really trying to just make us like sheeps, and they think they can just control us. And I walk the talk as best that I can. I'm saying, if I want to build this new earth, if I want to help anchor this new timeline, I cannot be here talking to people about, hey, we need to do this new way, raise our vibration, and be like, but I'm going to, just when I have the ability to do so, send my kids to these schools. Now, I'm saying this not to shame people that can't do this. I know a lot of parents who would love to homeschool, but they need to pay the bills. And there's no judgment for me, because my mother was a single mom. We were poor at one point. I didn't even have a proper shower in the bathroom. It was just a shower head. You know how nowadays here you have like the bathtub or like that little steno shower? We didn't have that. It was just a shower on the wall. So if you need to pay the bills, that's basically you need to do it. But I'm now in a position where I waited very long to have kids. I waited very long to choose a partner that is a provider, and I waited, and I also strategized because I knew I wanted to be there for my children. I strategized and created my business in a way that gives me flexibility. So if I am blessed and I've worked hard to be in this place, I feel like, let me do my part as a radical starseed, as a radical light worker, and I'm going to do my best to preserve the innocence, the purity of my children. And then once they have a good head on their shoulders, right? We know spiritually children from 0 to 8 is very impressionable. And so if I can give her a very good foundation and then merge her in the public school system, I would feel more aligned. And that's just my personal choice. And my mom at first was like really scared. She's like, oh my God, what if she's like socially awkward and everything? And I've done so much research. I've read so much books and talked to so many parents. And I'm saying, if homeschooling is done the right way, not negligence, not like, oh, just stay in home, do nothing, it can be done to be even better than some public schools. So that's why I chose to homeschool, is for that very reason. And I want to preserve my children's spiritual abilities as well. I will also make some videos about how to like cultivate that for your children. I just don't want to see those light in their eyes and their ability to be telepathic and to know things and to connect to spiritual things get dimmed in the school system at such a young age. So I wanted to at least give them a good start. A lot of things that I didn't have, a lot of knowledge that my parents didn't have, time and money that my parents didn't have. I want to do my best. So this is called responsible homeschooling. I can make more videos in the future about how I do homeschooling, and I think we can do homeschooling with like a good budget. I don't think you need to be super wealthy to do so, but it definitely does take some base resources for sure. Kids can learn as many languages as they want at an early age. That's what I heard too. So I'm trying to introduce all the languages to my daughter. Well, so we have that mixture inside Serbia, north part where I come from. We have public school and language minority. Whoa, that's a lot of foreign language. That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool, Eve. I didn't know that. You also mix. That's so cool. Hi, Empress. It's nice to see everyone. Some familiar faces in our community. And yeah, so moving on now, guys, to area number 4. Oh, yeah, area. Oh, number 3. I forgot. I have some bullet points here to keep me on track. So it was also about, for me, seeing my daughter learn. Like, I feel that no one else is going to care more about my daughter than me. They can be good teachers, right? But no one else would care more about her than me. And I'm already a teacher, like I'm already teaching, right? Spirituality. So to me, it's like that archetype is already in me. And I would say I love it, guys. I actually love homeschooling my daughter I have binders full of curriculum. I have planners and all the materials, all the activities that I put together. I love doing it so much. And so that gives me a lot of joy. It's like, oh, I want to go to my daughter's homeschool. So really enjoy that. So I guess that's what some people call like, what is your joy in motherhood? For me, is just seeing my daughter learn things. I'm like, oh, yes, Uh, and then also for me, I always look at things in the long term. I feel like as I learn these new skills and new knowledge, it will make me a better spiritual healer. It will give me transferable skill that I'm learning from the Homeschool Teacher Academy to my practice as a leader, as a teacher, and also benefit maybe future generation. Who knows? Maybe later on when we have the temple built, right, we can have these alternative way of education, and I'll have that knowledge to help guide us get started on that. We'll have that option. And that's what I want to see, is like a village, a temple that comes back. And like, parents need a lot of support. People need a lot of support of healing. So the temple can be both a space of healing and education for our collective. So that's where I am feeling right now. It's like really learning. So I know a lot of you are also learning new classes as well. Some people are taking some of my courses. So I'm learning alongside with you, just in a different area of knowledge. And number four, the fourth area was the transition from working full time to very part time. So this was the hardest part for me, even harder than the ancestral healing. And let me know if you guys, can resonate. Or energy for me became very limited once I became a mother, and I couldn't just do what I used to do to the degree and the pacing that I was doing. So when I was a maiden, I was working 6 or 7 days a week. Anytime my clients need me in different time zone, I can do it. There was so much freedom, right, for me to serve. I can check in with people. I can like really do the extra things. And then boom, my daughter came, and then all of that wasn't even gradual. It was like went down to like this, right? So that was a very hard adjustment for me. Like I felt like I was failing my community. Like, oh, I used to do this, and I couldn't go on YouTube every day to do like host healing. I couldn't do transmission to serve. It was really hard, and so I think I had a really hard postpartum recovery, not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because it was such a big shift. I didn't know how to adjust to it, especially because a lot of us now, it's being programmed like, oh, be a girl, what is it called? Girl boss? Women can have it all. And right there and then I realized, actually, no, there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only so much energy. I can't have it all. I would drive myself crazy if I want it all. So all of that I really have to adjust. And in the beginning, guys, like just being very honest and vulnerable is, I feel like I had to apologize a lot. And that was something that I'm trying to change. I was like, why am I healing my body after giving birth and apologizing to people for not getting to them fast enough, and apologizing for this, apologizing for not checking in, apologizing for all the extra things that I used to do? I'm like, I'm raising a human being. I shouldn't have to apologize. So that was something that I have to shift as a mother as well. And I think that really helped me really look at what is my priority, and to really feel with shadow work how difficult it is to accept that. To be like, you know what? I went from serving 2,000 people to now this one little being whose survival and safety depended on me. And my wake up call was, I was answering an email to someone, helping someone, and my daughter was learning how to walk. And she tripped and banged her head on the table because I was busy answering an email to somebody. And that was my wake up call. I'm like, this cannot continue. Like, I have this little one here whose safety depends on me. So I need to do a quick shift right now. From that maiden priestess, I need to learn how to be a mother priestess and shift my priorities. So that was when I started to really retreated from my business full time and really just have to get used to this full time, part time schedule. And I think it's really hard because we program to always, have the self worth placed on how well we do at work, how productive we are at work. So to shift into this other state is really hard. And that also I feel make me even more compassionate. I can't be more compassionate, but it makes me more compassionate towards people who have chronic illness. And so I would be like, wow, like people who are coming to me or watching videos or even with other people, they have chronic illness and they must go through the same transition, feeling this way too. So it makes everything deeper, motherhood. It makes all the feelings more deeper. Like, I've never laughed so much. I've never been so happy. I've never felt love so deeply as I felt when I look into my daughter's eyes. Like when she says the word mommy, it just makes me want to cry because what a beautiful feeling it is to have someone call you mommy. And uh, yeah, so for me, it was like a big wake up call and it was really emotional. And when I'm angry, I'll feel more angry because sometimes when you become a mother, you become more protective, you become more powerful, right? Previously, when you were maiden, you kind of like so very tiptoe around people, but now you're like, no, I cannot do this, right? You learn through coaching and teaching your child how to coach other people in your life. So I feel like that's a big shift, and some people were not used to it. They were used to the old version of Tiffany, who's always like, "Yes," or "Let me help you," very soft, very gentle. But now I'm like, actually, I cannot do this right now. Why don't we do this? Or this is not where I'm at right now. You have to look for someone, right? So it's a different version of me that takes me time to adjust to, and also takes people around me time to adjust to. And yeah, like I said, I disappeared for a few months because I just kept pushing myself. I was trying to do it all, and then I broke my body, and I just couldn't give anymore. So the wake up call was like slap, 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 until I finally be like, you have to surrender in motherhood, and you just needed to step deeper into that divine feminine power in a whole new way. So I'm like, okay, wow, now that my income has drastically gone down because I am working part time, that's also like a big transition. Like, where do I see myself? Where do I see my value? Right now in motherhood, as a part time working mom, and then stay at home mom, is now you have to remind myself and be like, some of the stuff that I do is not going to have monetary value. It's going to be in a different way. It's going to be in like a longer term result. So it's a big shift, right? Which is a very masculine corporate school system imprinting to now like motherhood is like the opposite. It's not like, oh, you sit down with your kid for 1 hour, you get paid $10, right? Like the corporate is you sit down with your kid, you teach them for that hour, and you may not see results till like weeks later and even years later. So it's a very big shift in that. And I didn't have a lot of mom friends. So anyone who's listening, if you want to be a parent, make sure you start making friends who are already parents. So you have that support when it's time or when you decide to become a parent. And I think this part as well might apply to some of you in your life too, is handling expectations and towards what really is the reality. And I think a lot of us can relate to that politically, looking at the world. Like we are expecting our leaders to fix the world, and they are turning like a different way. And you're just like, I just have no more expectations anymore. I'm just going to do my part and not going to expect the people in power to do the right thing. They're just not choosing that route. So a lot of it is just that mother energy. So when I talk about mother energies, either you a mother, you're in their mother energy, or you working with Kuan Yin, like a mother, spiritual teacher is really that balance of reality versus expectation and how to navigate that. Yeah, the fifth area of transformation for me is forced to change old habits. So, the overly people pleasing or saying yes all the time, there was no time to people please. There was no time to say yes with a baby on hand. So you're like, oh, yeah, I would love to help you with that, but I actually haven't even brushed my teeth today. So can't really help. So it took time to adjust because you're going from helping all these people to just, no, I just have time to help one person. And if I'm lucky, I can help, one or two people. It's a big adjustment and sticking to my priorities. So that took me, guys, like 3 years to really settle into this space. So when people was like, oh, you can bounce back after 6 weeks, I don't know what those people are talking about. 3 years. The first year is no sleep. Your brain is barely functioning. Second year, you're trying to catch up on the sleep you didn't get in the first year and chasing after the toddler. And the third year, you're finally like, oh, I have time to shop for clothes. So I think it really took like 3 years to go back. And now I'm having a second one. I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? I'm starting the cycle again. My daughter just started sleeping through the night, and now we're gonna have a newborn soon. But I was like, okay, let's just get it over with. I just want two. The finish line is there. Just get it over with. I can do it. And number six was something I also didn't anticipate was the change of friends. So you know how we went through that change of friends after our spiritual awakening? You're like, oh, it seems like you still keep some of your friends, but you deviated to like a whole new group of friends, right? Or sometimes you lose old friends. When I stepped into parenthood, that same thing happened again. But this time I find that I got closer to all the people that had kids, that have kids. Even when I wasn't very close to them before, there's something like a radar that parents have. Like once you have a kid, like they stick together. They're like, oh, there's something in common. We know the struggles and everything. And then I find that my single friends, most of them, some of them who are more mature or have kids in some way before, right, that are grown now, we're still around. So I found that there was a big shift of friends. Now it's more like friends with people who are parents who also get it, who's also struggling, who's also not sleeping. So it's a lot of changes in this past 2 years. And yeah, I'm very glad I powered through it, but I don't want anyone to watch my channel and say, oh, look at her, she's doing it so easily. It was not easy. It was not a walk in the park. The times you see me show up, it's when I'm at my best state. So I'm only human, like all of you. And I think we need more people to admit that, because I feel like when I was in motherhood, I had to quit Instagram because it was just all these perfect moms showing me how perfect they are. And I'm like, feeling so bad. And then my mom is like, those are not real, right? Those are all stage, or it's just for a few seconds. And at first I'm like, no, it's real. They're doing it. I'm not doing it right. These moms are working and making millions, and I need that million to build a temple and I can't do it. And that was like after postpartum. But now it's like, actually, there's only certain things you can do at a time, right? Depending on how much resources. So now I'm more realistic. Excuse me. Just like how we're talking about in area number 4. So yeah, if anyone who is like pushing towards you, or if you ever like watch like Instagram and now there's all these AI things now and you're like comparing yourself, just take a break from those outlets. It's deviating us from the village. It's deviating us from source. And finally, the last part is that balance. So balancing home life. I don't have a cleaner, so I clean. I have a business I'm trying to maintain because at one point I was like to Source, I'm like, I can't do this, Source. I am so tired, can't open my eyes. How am I gonna do this? And every time I would get to that point, one of you would send me a loving message and be like, wow, Tiffany, thanks for that class, or thanks for that video, really helped me. And I'm like, see, this is the village. You cancel my village. And then that would be my sign to keep going. I'm like, I can't quit. It's helping people. Like it's valuable. I have to like keep it. It's like that little encouragement that you guys give me. So I really appreciate that. And as much as a lot of people I see out there see their community as like just numbers, for me it's more like, no, we are something more. We are village. And I feel that we're here with special mission and focus. And so I appreciate all the support, the little messages, and even just like a click of like on the video, because I'm human too, right? When I get that little sticker, it's like, yay, let's keep going. And that was actually more than what I needed than I thought I would, because when you are in motherhood, you are really giving, right? And that was something that I had to struggle with in my business, because I was so giving to my daughter. I would do the same in the business, but then you can't do both. So I was like, you know what? This season is sitting back and just receiving. And so I needed to remind myself of that is, you made all these videos, you made all these courses, Tiffany, sit back, just let it be for now. And then when the time is right, you can turn up the gear to gear 5 or whatever. But now just like sit back and receive back from people. Because now you're giving people who are giving like loving messages to you, positive karma, positive feeling. So be that door, be that opening for them. Okay. That was one of the message I shared in the last channeled email as well, was to let source work through you. A lot of times when things don't go our way, we think we did something wrong, we had bad karma. But the message that came through Kuan Yin was, sometimes you are meant to be that person's test, opportunity, or spark. You are that choice point for the person. So it's not really about you doing the right thing. Sometimes it's, do you have the patience to be neutral and sit back and allow that person to make the choice? Can you be the test? Can you be the opportunity? Can you be that choice point for that person? So I was like, wow, that really helped. Thank you, Mother Kuan Yin. So I hope that helps you guys too. And yeah, balancing the temple as well. So the temple, at one point, Christina approached me about this place called Starseed Village in Guatemala. And we were looking into it, but the timing didn't work out for me, because you guys can check out Starseed Village as well. So Starseed Village is this group of people. They bought a piece of land in Guatemala, and from my knowledge, they are working with the indigenous. So it's not just they coming in, colonizing, they are working with the indigenous elders in the area. And they're building this place called Starseed Village, which has like birth centers, it has residential areas, it has like cafes. It's really great project. And right now they open, I don't know if they still have plots of land that you can buy. But the problem with us is they require me to build something within 2 years. To build something there, they said it will cost 120 K US dollars. And I'm looking at where I'm at life right now, right? I'm pulling back into the motherhood season. There's no way I can finance that 120 grand US dollar. I'm Canadian, right? So in that within 2 years, because I'm like, that would be, I don't even know how that would work. I would have to go in debt, or I have to take out a loan. And the other thing is the location was too far for me to travel with the little ones in the future. So the Starseed Village is about 3.5 hour drive from the airport. And I'm thinking, okay, if I need to go there, I need to arrange and work on it, build things. And I have a baby, I have a toddler. Are they going to sit in the car for 3.5 hours plus the plane ride down there? So logistically speaking, it just wasn't working. I did try to ask them if I can buy the plot of land and maybe just keep it. And when the time is right for me, then start building. But their rule is you have to build in 2 years. So unfortunately, that location did not work for our temple. So that's my update for the temple, for the physical location. So my plan now, looking into the future, is either I buy a property in Canada in the future and I build there where I'm in person. It's easier for me to do it. The weather is not ideal, but it's a starting place, right? Or I have family from my husband's side in Costa Rica where there could be a possibility of us buying something in Costa Rica and having the temple there. However, again, there's a lot of logistic that I have to think about for that physical location. So this is more like a lifelong project that I'm working on with some help from volunteers from my students. But that's the current vision, is either or. The other suggestion, guys, that my husband gave to me is he was like, why don't you just have the temple online for now? Because you can reach way more people. If you have it in one physical location right now, right, you're only reaching a very limited amount of people. So start online where you can reach more people, and then maybe we'll get more donations, more funding, then we can think about the physical location. So that's what I started. So some of you have already found it. I don't know how you guys found it. I haven't even announced it, but it's meant to be. In my Teachable, if you go to my website, if you're already a student, there's link called the Healing Temple. And I believe I'll put the link in the description. Did I put in description? Let me see. So the Healing Temple is like the grassroots. So my idea for the Healing Temple for now is that it is an online space where students that I trust energetically based on our interaction can offer a transmissional healing in the temple. People can join for free and they have an opportunity to donate to help us, right, build the temple or to cover the expenses. And then from there, we'll see how the project evolves. So that's where I'm at right now. Eventually, guys, I want to have like free meditations in the Healing Temple for us as the grassroots project. But there's a lot of back end stuff that I have to work on in order for us to get to that place, right? I need volunteers, and I need resources, time, organization, and also just having a really strict process of who I allow to offer healing in the temple. Not just anyone can have that opportunity because for protection, right? We want the transmission to be very pure. So it's a lot of background work. So that's where I'm at, guys, with the 144K. Where's the picture? 144K Temple project is we're starting it in the online space, and then we're going to slowly grow. And yeah, so please keep me in your prayer. Once in a while, ask source, vote for me energetically to manifest and ground down this energetic space for us. And I will leave it up to source, leave it up to the community. If it remains online, it remains online. If it can manifest in a physical form, we are happy and blessed to receive that. But let's do this type of voting, not the other time, because At least this type of voting is actually for the people. We can vote without energy, and that's the other thing that the elites don't want us to know. They think we can just vote with a piece of paper and a check mark or a button, but we can vote without energy. And let me see if I have anything more update about the temple. Yeah, so that's where we at. So as of right now, if you guys want to just get a head start to join that free temple space, it's called the Healing Temple. I'll find the link. I'll make sure it is in the description. So I have right now 3 high priestesses that have trained with me for years, and they still show up regularly in their training sessions that have offered transmission in that space. I have more students who are in the process of getting training and getting ready, so the space will continue to grow. And also, yeah, sharing motherhood, balancing motherhood, homeschooling. So there's a lot of new things I'm learning. So you guys will see this channel evolve, whereas before I was very focused to just talk about light codes and spiritual teachings. Now I'm going to braid it in with some life teachings with spirituality. I'm still going to offer light codes teachings and workshops and transmission. And those of you that likes to join me in workshop settings on Zoom, make sure you are on our email list, because my assistant helped me email the invites out when I do like a free workshop. I posted some of the free ones I did in my channel. If you haven't watched them and some of them cost you, it's available in the channel. Yeah, so overall, the conclusion, everyone, is that I feel more empowered as a person. I feel more capable as a person and more powerful in my work after I became a mother. But it took 3 years. Maybe now it'll take me another 3 years with the new baby. So protecting my peace, my energy, and my attention now really is like a training for me. So that's where I'm at in terms of my journey as a high priestess. It's been a lot, and it really took me 3 years to even integrate and be able to synthesize this video to express these areas of evolution with everyone. So thank you for listening to my journey, and I hope that this journey gives you some positive energy, some groundedness. And there's so much negative news out there now. I hope that this transmission is one of the better ones that you will see this week. So I am planning next to have some more workshops before I give birth in August. So I will keep you guys posted of those free workshops. If there's any topics that anyone likes to learn more about, please feel free to let me know in the comments as well. Haven't done starseed stuff in a long time, so maybe we can do something, like that, like a starseed DNA activation. So very exciting stuff coming forth. Let me catch up on the comments, everyone. Hi, Maya. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel that good thing. I was like, oh, good thing I started my healing before I became a mother. Like, I was just imagining if I had kids before I had healing, it would be like, oh, a total disaster. Julia, hi, Julia. That's amazing that you're doing that for your kids. I have 4 daughters and now a single mother. That's the hardest part for me, sending off to be programmed. I feel you. It's really hard, but I think we made it through that system. So I feel that our kids would be okay too. Like, they would learn what they need to learn, and at home we support them. So I feel that both way works. Like, for me, if I was still living in Asia, or if I was living maybe in a better part in Canada, I don't even know where, and I trust the school system, I would definitely put them in school. But that's just the circumstance right now. So I'm learning, and being a single mom is really hard. And yeah, I remember apologizing to my mom, like, I'm sorry for yelling at you when I was a teenager. because when you're a teenager that with a lot of trauma and your mother is like constantly triggering it, right? You just explode at each other. So yeah, being a single mother is not easy. You have my respect. So. I have a 7-year-old, then 2.5-year-old, and my main priority, 100%. And I remember one of my students in a session, without the details, she was really concerned about her not working on her mission because she has young little kids, and her guides was telling her that one of her mission was her son. And so that really reminded her and be more peaceful about her spiritual journey, because she's like, yeah, you know what, that is right. I had a feeling my son is part of my mission. And so our children, if you have children, and your children could be even a plant or tree or a fur baby, right? They all souls. They all soulful beings. Is yeah. I just blanked out with the pregnant brain. So what was I talking about? Yeah. So our little ones, the ones that we take care of, they all part of our village, part of our community. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's another part, Julia. I feel you. Like, that's why I didn't want to send her to kindergarten right away, is because of that sensitivity. It's like, they either gonna be like, your daughter doesn't listen, or they're not gonna get her. I don't think they would get her the way that we would get her. But I think it would change as more and more light workers were waking up now. I'm seeing all of these new ways of learning pop up, like groups of parents would come together and they would hire like a teacher to teach their kids, and so many ways to do it. It's very interesting to observe how we are evolving. Maya, I don't know. I feel like over apologizing and those I'm a thing for so many American women, not to get negative, but honestly, and we have these convo all the time when we're encouraged to take time and care. Oh yeah, Maya, there's another thing you reminded me of. It, speaking of like even cultural differences, I also noticed that there's some things that we do culturally that where you're living now might not see it. Like in Asia, usually we're very polite, but like when I'm in America, I find that some Americans or Canadians would see it like we're lowering ourselves to them. And I'm like, they're misunderstanding our etiquette. When we are polite, when we're kind, and sometimes we apologize, it's not that we're seeing ourselves as lower than them, is that's how we are as a culture. Like we do it to each other. Have you seen those reels where the Japanese people is like bowing to each other, like bye, okay, bye, 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 bye. So, like we do that to each other, and the Western people don't really get that or understand that. So I think the over apologizing thing can also, I feel, just from my personal experience, in a lot of cultures we do that. Like we're over apologizing just to be like courteous. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like we don't want to bother you, or let me know what I can help you with, like in your house as a guest. Like we're very much like that as a culture. And yeah, another thing I noticed is even the smile and laughing. Like in Asian culture, is very normal for us to smile, to nod, to laugh when we talk. And I had Westerner that criticized that, either saying, "Oh, I can't take you seriously," or things like that. And then I would watch them, and they would not laugh. They would not have that same demeanor that we have. So there's some cultural differences there I can see that can make us like feel overly something to other people. So interesting. If I'm due in August, so August, this is an August baby, summer baby. Thank you, Ken. My online temple is such a good idea. Van, hi Van, it's been a while. Online healing temple sounds like a practical, tangible idea, means to find raise further for the physical temple. Oh, thank you for the support, everyone. So That's where we're starting. And sometimes I'll be honest with you guys, I look at people like Jeff Bezos or who was it? This lady, J Lo or something. She spent like $40 million on her documentary about herself. And I'm like, why don't these celebrities just use their money to do something really, really good for the world? Some of them do, but I think they can do more. You know what I mean? I was like, if I only just have like a $1 million check, I can just start the temple now, get it built, like start hiring people. Oh, thank you, Brit. So that's another thing you can share. Like, feel free to share if you guys have audience. Like, ask for your audience to vote for you energetically, because we need this new energy. We need leaders who actually care about people, not leaders who takes $40 million for a pension after ruining a country. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. That part about being respectful and considerate to the next person does make sense to me as a Westerner. I do worry at times that may make people feel like they can't be honest or like themselves because they are overly worried about not coming off as offensive. Yeah, that was something I had to learn to my it's like really interesting because my husband is Latino and Latino are very different than Asian. Like Asian, I remember when we first started dating, we don't really touch, we don't really like, kiss or have public display of affection because that is seen as not courteous and not respectful. But like my husband is very public affectionate. So in the beginning when we were dating, it was like it was very uncomfortable for me. I was like, oh my god, don't touch me in public. Oh, it was so funny. But now we find a balance. So yeah, I love this conversation. I think a lot of it is two cultures coming together and then like finding understanding and balance, which I think is so amazing. Because then I wouldn't have that experience if I kept living in China. I only have these type of multicultural experience in the Western world. So it's very, very interesting. So guys, imagine how excited it would be, right? When galactic communication opens, when we start to learn more about the galactic families and their tradition, their different ways of beings, that would be so interesting to learn about, right? All of these different star civilizations. Just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger donate 250 to build homes for the homeless veterans. That's amazing. Like that's the type of people that we need more. Overall, I love the Asian point of view on respect. 100%. Yeah. I think respect is very important all the time. So ready to learn more about my home, Mintaka. Yes. Have you guys interacted with Octurians? Like Octurians, sometimes they have demeanors that kind of like it's like a little yeah. They are funny, but then they not like they're funny, it's like cute. It's like I don't know how to describe it. Their humor it's like innocent but like funny at the same time. Mintaka and O'Brien. Mintaka is a really nice like when I interact with Mintakan spirit guides, most of them, not all of them, are very telepathic. So really when we communicate with Mintakan, you get to feel and experience and see through their eyes, their worlds, their houses, their like the spectrum of colors are different. You know how we see colors in a certain way, but when you communicate with a Mintagan guide, especially the aquatic types, the colors are different. So when they see the air is not like blue. When they see the air, it's like pink or purple. Like when they see the different things, it's like a different color. It's like a different color filter. It's very interesting. Orion. I have some experience with Orion guides or beings, and it's very also dynamic as well. So also very telepathic, and I find that the Orions I've interacted with really like conversations. Like they really like to get conversations going. And then with the Octurians, they really like to exchange and work with Akashic records, things about healing, things about yeah, what did I say? Akashic records, bioplasma, like those type of things I find Octurians are very interested in. My son and I talk a lot about galactic beings. I'm an Octurian soul. Same if I'm very connected to Arcturus as well. Yeah, so it seems like we have quite a few star seeds. So maybe in the upcoming workshops that we do, we can talk about star beings. We can. I would have to arrange this and get permission, but maybe we can invite some guides that I trust, for strong boundaries here, that I trust to come in and deliver some messages. And we can invite the hybrid children as well to come in and share some knowledge as well. So sometimes I don't do that type of content because I don't want to come across as, oh my gosh, she's like, using galactic beings to get views or engagements. So I don't do it. I just keep it to myself. But I think sharing some, it's okay. Sharing a little bit, it's okay. So yeah. All right, everyone. So I will conclude today's live chat. It's been really nice to see you, some familiar faces once again. Thanks for holding space. Thanks for the connection to allow me space to share a little bit about myself and what's happening in the temple and just connecting. Because I would be honest, I am a hermit. I don't go out a lot. And it's nice to connect and talk to and see some of your energies here to connect with one another. So thank you for your blessings for baby number 2 that's gonna come in the summertime, and hope you're all doing well as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys more often. So have a good rest of your night and day. Bye.